Hi, my name is Nour. I'm 18 years old, but when I was 13, I killed someone. Wait, no, not like the Netflix true crime killed somebody. Don't call the cops yet. But I killed the parts of myself I wanted to erase. The parts I thought stuck out too much. The ones that whispered, "You don't belong here." And the worst part, I thought I was doing the right thing. The first parts to go were my Caribbean identity. I grew up in a school surrounded by white teachers where success had one color, one accent, one idea of smart. So, I became a chameleon. I softened my vowels, I stopped wearing gold jewelry, and I never ever wore my hair in braids. I didn't want to be different. I wanted to be digestible. But that didn't work. No matter how hard I tried to whitewash myself, it didn't work. I was still too brown. So I tried another route. If I couldn't be white, maybe I could fit into the Desi community, a group of South Asian people. At least that community came with an identity, and it made sense. They were brown, I was brown. That would work, right? But I was more than just South Asian. I was Caribbean. So to Desi people, I was a knockoff. Not quite real. So white people were confused, Desi people were repulsed, and I was exhausted. But that's human nature. The pressure to shrink, to conform ourselves, it's wired into our psychology. In the 1950s, psychologist Solomon Asch conducted a series of famous experiments where he asked people one simple question: which line is the longest? Those of you in the audience, go ahead, give it a try, and when you're ready, call out your answer. B. B? No, it's C. Give it another look. I'm messing with you, but Solomon Asch wasn't. The answer was obvious. A literal child could get it right. But when participants were surrounded by actors who intentionally gave the wrong answer, most people changed their answer too. Not because they believed it, but because they didn't want to stand out. That's called normative conformity. It's our brain's way of saying, don't rock the boat, blend in, survive. But blending isn't the same as belonging. As JFK once said, conformity is the jailer of freedom and enemy of growth. When we conform to what society expects, we may gain temporary safety, but we risk losing something far more valuable: ourselves. Now, human nature or not, I was exhausted. I'd spent years trying to squeeze myself into boxes I was never meant to fit. Then came the trip that changed everything. I visited Trinidad for the first time since I was a little kid, and something in me shifted. This time, I looked around, really looked. The people around me were of Indian descent, Latin descent, African descent, Chinese descent, sometimes all at once and even more. Our conversations mixed French, Hindi, Spanish, English. Our grammar? Inspired by Mandarin and Cantonese. Our food? A love letter to fusion. And our religions? Side by side. Temples, churches, mosques. Neighbors, not rivals. Trinidad wasn't just one thing. It was never meant to be. It was a mosaic. A living, breathing proof that identity could be beautiful and layered, not a burden. And that's when I realized I wasn't broken, I was blended. I had spent so long trying to simplify myself, reduce myself, erase myself, and really, my power was in everything I contained. I didn't fit any stereotypes because I exceeded them. I didn't fit the mold because I was meant to break it. Now, I know my story may sound specific, but the truth is, this pressure to conform, it's everywhere. Kids in lunchrooms faking their accents to sound more normal. Teens straightening their curls before picture day. Or even adults changing their name on a resume just to get a call back. But it's not always minority based. Conformity can also look like kids lying about still sleeping with their stuffed animals to their friends. Guilty. Teens hiding their nerdy interests. Or even adults lying about their salary at a dinner party. We've all been there, in ways big and small. This feeling that if we just quiet this one little part of ourselves, we'll finally feel accepted. Sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. But here's the danger. When you erase your history without first understanding it, you're not freeing yourself, you're abandoning yourself. Before you reject that culture, that religion, that language, that family tradition, that quirky little interest, ask yourself, who taught me this part of myself wasn't good enough? Because once you step back and really look at what you're trying to erase, you may realize you're deleting the most powerful parts of your own story. And you deserve to know who you are before the world tells you who to be. I believed that if I erased myself just enough, I'd finally feel accepted. But what I've learned is this. Societal acceptance stems from self-acceptance. We can never truly belong if we're not showing up as ourselves. I spent years trying to be liked by everyone, thinking that if I can just shapeshift into something more acceptable, I'd finally feel accepted. But acceptance that comes at the cost of authenticity is just approval in disguise. And now I know. I don't want to be liked by the world if it means disappearing as myself. I wish I could go back and talk to the 13-year-old me, the version of myself who thought she had to erase everything that made her vibrant and unique just to survive. And I'd tell her, you are not too different. You are not too much. You're not a burden to be explained, you're a story to be celebrated. Society doesn't get to define your worth. It doesn't get to tell you what beauty, intelligence, or belonging looks like. You don't need to shrink to be accepted. You need to expand into who you truly are. Because every time someone chooses self-acceptance, it makes space for society to grow too. Now, I can't force you to stop shrinking yourselves, but I can leave you with this quote from Rita Mae Brown. The reward for conformity is that everyone likes you but yourself. You're not here to blend in. You're here to break the mold. Thank you.